Hey guys, lately I get asked one question more and more often, and it is, should I pick this phone over this phone or this phone? And I wanted to make a comparison this time to give you more information to help you decide which one you can buy. And before you ask, I would have liked to include more devices into this comparison, like the M8 or the S5, but since I never reviewed those, I just can't, and I can only compare the devices I actually used and reviewed. So let's get to it. Let's damn it. First, let's start and mention all the phones I will be comparing with another. The following phones: it will be the LG G3, the OnePlus One, the Nexus 5 and the Oppo Find 7 and the 7a. Before I'm going to actually compare the devices, I have to set something straight. The first thing is, none of these phones in this review is actually bad. They are all great and I could use all of them as my daily driver. But this comparison is more for you here, to help you decide which one to buy and give you all the details to help you. So these are all my personal thoughts. This is not trying to think for someone else. I'm giving you my opinion, and if that helps you or not, we'll see. The last thing I want to mention is, all of these devices are considered to be stock, unmodified and flawless. And this will make sense when you're watching the comparison, because I will mention a few things here and there. So now let's finally start with the comparison itself. And the first thing is the design and the build quality, as always for me. And the winner here is the first and the second place, the Oppo Find 7 and the 7a, because in my personal opinion, they have the best in the feel hand. They feel the most premium, the most substantial. And in terms of the width for a 5.5 incher, they are still very compact. Of course, they are longer, like for example, the second place, the LG G3, which is a lot more compact, but it just doesn't give you this premium, high-end, polished, substantial feel. So that's why the LG is only place 2. Place number, I would say 3, I mean. Place number 4 will be the OnePlus One, because it feels very premium, but it is also bigger than all the others and just doesn't feel as good as the 3 above. Place number 5 here is the Nexus 5. Yes, it may be the lightest, it may be the smallest, but it also has maybe the most, not boring design, but I just don't like the feel in the hand with the edge around the display and so. And these days for me, I never liked the design and the build quality particularly. That's why it's the 5th place for me. Choosing a winner in terms of the display was a bit tricky, because out of the box, the winner for me is the OnePlus One, due to one reason: it comes out of the box with a color options, which gives you settings to change the saturation and those things in the settings. This lets you decide which kind of display you want to have in terms of saturation, color vividity and all those things. Otherwise, the winner would be the Nexus 5, which is the second place for me, because it has overall the better screen if it's used properly. Because if you use a custom ROM with a custom kernel that gives you color options and you load, like for example, an AMOLED preset, the picture is so much better, because in overall the screen quality of the Nexus 5 for me is personally better. But stock without those color options, it's just the second place. The third place for me, very, very close to the other two, is the Oppo Find 7. It is pretty close to the OnePlus One, but also doesn't come with the color settings, and the screen was slightly more yellow. Of course, this is all a settings thing, and the latest update of the OnePlus One showed this the best. You could easily fix this with a firmware update or something like that. But like it is right now, it is place 3. Place number 4 is the Oppo Find 7. And this was also pretty close, because it is practically the same display as on the LG G3. But I only gave the LG G3 the 5th place because of the over sharpening. I didn't just like that. The Oppo Find 7 doesn't have this issue. Otherwise, they would have been on par and it would have been a tie. Now let's choose a winner in terms of sound. And the winner here is the OnePlus One again. Why? It is by far the loudest, and the sound is very clear. And also the volume boost in terms of the speaker and in terms of the headphones is just the biggest. So in overall, this is my winner. Also, it is the second best speaker placement after boom sound, because dual mono speakers at the bottom is still the best way to go, if not on the front. The second place and the third place is the Oppo Find 7. They both have it on the back, maybe not the best placement, but still very loud. Also a very rich sound, not that clear as on the OnePlus One, but still a very good second and third place. The fourth place would be the LG G3 with a bad speaker placement, but since it doesn't have the stereo on the back, but just one, which also is a bit more flat, it makes the fourth place, but it's pretty close to the Find 7, also in terms of maximum volume and this. The Nexus 5 is the last place here, mostly because it's not very loud, it's very shallow and very flat. The overall experience is just about okay, but nothing more. Performance-wise, the winner, and I have to say it again, it is the OnePlus One. It just was slightly the fastest and the smoothest in terms of overall feel. Second place here is the Find 7, which is pretty much on par. There are only minor differences and only maybe the software is the one thing holding the Find 7a back with the ColorOS. The third place here is the Nexus 5, but I have to mention one thing. This is using stock Android 4.4.4 KitKat. If I would be using the Nexus on the Nexus 5 Android L, the preview, then it would have been place number 1. But as I said, we have to consider stock here. It is very close to the first two, but it is the third place right as it is now. With Android L, all will change with art, but I didn't get to test art on the OnePlus One or the Oppo Find 7. That's why it's no fair comparison. Place number 4 would be the Oppo Find 7. Not that far behind, but like I said, it is the issue with the less frames. We don't have 60 frame smoothness, we have like 40 or 45, something like that. And then the G3 is the 5th place, and this would have been also already a tie again with the Oppo Find 7 because they have pretty much the same performance, but the G3 here has a quite noticeable delay. I didn't like so much on every app launch and everything else. And the thing about the frames per second, I found the XDA thread. So LG on purpose limits the frames, so we don't have 60 frames. This is maybe to save some battery and also the performance. But like I said, it's not stock by stock, it has less frames, so that's why 5th place with the delay. Let's choose the winner in the battery department, and again, the OnePlus One, by far the best battery life, not the best battery charge time, but 2 hours is still pretty good. Second place is the Find 7a, which has quick charge and definitely is the fastest in terms of charging times. But the battery life was at least, I would say, 20% less good, so second place. The third place here, very close to the Find 7, is the G3, but I give it a slight little heads up. I found the Find 7 to be slightly worse, but not by much, so the Find 7 is the 4th place. And the 5th place is the Nexus 5, and all of the people who have one know, compared to real flagships these days, it just isn't as good anymore. So who's the winner in terms of software? And I think all of you would agree, the Nexus 5. But no, I give the win to the OnePlus One because it is practically stock Android, but with CyanogenMod it has a lot of useful features. I know to appreciate those, so that's why it's out of the box place number 1. Place number 2 then again is the Nexus 5 because it has a really great software out of the box. Place 3 and number 4 is the Oppo, which is surprising because we are only having Jelly Bean 4.3, but it still had more useful features than the 5th place would be, which would be the G3, which just had a pretty poor software in my opinion. It did get the job done, but not really pleasantly. All the usefulness and enhancing stuff just was missing for me. Let's talk about the XDA qualities now, and here with not even a close second place is the Nexus 5. We have by far the most kernels, we have by far the most ROMs here, so there's no denying this is the winner. The second place here right now, as it seems for me, is the OnePlus One because more and more people get this device because it's so cheap as soon as they can get it and start developing for it. The other places I can't really set up because the Oppo Find 7 and 7a, for my surprise, didn't have yet the custom ROMs and kernels I would have expected, and G3 is just way too new. So here could change a lot, so no other places here. So this means it's finally time to choose the overall winner here. And it is, I think if you saw the previous categories, by no surprise the OnePlus One. In overall it just is the most complete device. We have, in my opinion, the best display, best battery life, the best sound, the best performance and the best software. So this makes it the winner. Of course, there are a lot of other different things to consider, but this is for me the winner. Place number 2 would be the Find 7a, which is even better in terms of feel in the hand. Has also a very good camera, also very good battery life. The display is also very good. So a very close second place. And in terms, if you have different preferences, it could be even made the first place for you. And the big bonus here, it is available for everyone. The Find 7 here is the third place, but I had a lot of thoughts about which one I would pick for the third place, the G3 or the Find 7. And finally I decided to give the 7a the place because the better feel in the hand, the slightly better software, and in the end I would prefer, if I would have to choose which one would be my daily driver, I would take the Find 7 because it is a bit more unique device and it just had a little bit something special, which I was missing on the fourth place, the G3. It was a very, very great device, but not compared to the best ones out there. The display just wasn't really convincing, the battery life wasn't either, the sound, and all of this was just a high average, but just failed to impress me. And the fifth place here is the Nexus 5, but you have to remember one thing. It would have been the third place in terms of performance and display. But I only gave it the fifth place because it is kind of outdated a bit, but there is just one thing to have to keep in mind. The design, the battery and the speaker aren't up to par with the best ones out there anymore. The speaker is just too low in volume, the battery is just pretty poor these days, and the overall design just wasn't my typical cup of tea. So it could have been third if it would be a slightly bit better in some other things. There's also a special price here, which I will give to the OnePlus One, and that price is for best marketing and support. Wait, no. I meant worst marketing and support. I think you pretty much know what I mean because they fucked up pretty much everything in these two terms. So definitely well-deserved special price. Okay, so that's it for this comparison. If you have anything further to say, just leave me a comment. And I think I have to say something after I asked for it on G+, and I'll just say it straight away. I'll be back. Yes, and I still don't think I sound like Arnie, but you wanted to hear it, and the leather version with the glasses maybe will come at some point, but not yet. Until next time. I'll be back.